All right, g'day. Hope you're well. I'll wait for a few more of you to jump in, and yeah, have a look at what's going on. Who of you are trading? Who of you have been finding trades the last week or so? It'll be interesting to see that. And if you don't have your FTX account already, obviously down below in the description of this video, you'll be able to see that there, and you can get your 10% a 10% discount on your trading fees there. Also, if you are curious about how to raise orders, please also see in that description box that there is a setup there where it will take you through the video to show you exactly how to raise your orders properly and to make it all work. Let me just get all this set up how I want it. There we go. Yeah, and I also did a video on slippage last week, because I know a lot of people are a bit confused around why they might get some slippage. And I wanted to give people an understanding, because slippage, it's a part of being a trader. And, you know, as somebody who focuses exclusively on trading crypto, you are going to get slippage from time to time. It's about managing that slippage, managing your expectations around that, and also making sure that you're aware of where it can live. So I did a full video on that so that we can bring you up to speed and have you understanding exactly what it is, why it occurs. It's no one's out to get you. That's the thing. It's no one's out to get you. It's about understanding what it is. No worries, Big Roo. I'm glad you liked it. So give it a little bit more time to get some more people in. It's been, look, the markets have been pretty ho-hum for about a month now. The reason I don't mind getting a bit of slippage with crypto is that we tend to get, when we get a run, we get a good one. I mean, let me just have a look at a couple when the market has moved. So I'll just jump back to the daily here. You'll see this period through here, that big run. There's some great trades through there, not just on Bitcoin, but on some other pairs as well. So let me just jump. I remember there was, I think it was the 1 hour. Where were we? Back back a bit further, was it? Yeah, through here. See, I know that many of the people in my community got entries up through here. You know, there's a couple of tests down through here. Now, I did not. I did not get a trade on that breakout. Some people were watching. I mean, I was watching the level very closely, but look at the sorts of moves that do come of this. And, you know, you can find cradles, that sort of thing. And that's what we're really, really good at here. It's, you know, with the crypto cradle strategy, which you've got through FTX, of course, the 4-part series that I did, that taught you a strategy in the crypto cradle. There's also the Fibonacci booster, which is a Fibonacci-based strategy, of course, hence the name, which is there to capture when the markets are moving fast, like we did see in that period back through here. And we've also got a breakout strategy as well. So they all complement different stages when the market moves, and it's for a reason. When we do get trends, we do get lots of opportunity. When we don't have trends, like we have had like recently, we haven't had too many really great trends. It does limit the amount of trades that we can actually take. And I would never suggest that people take the best of a bad bunch. I don't think that's it's not a responsible thing to do, and it's not what good traders do. You got to take standout trades that fit your rules. If they don't fit your rules or they don't look great, then it's best just to leave them. Now, if we have a look through here, and this is an observation that I've made recently over the period of this year, more or less. Obviously, after this, we had a little trend through here. Then we saw a big whooshka, dump, and then a run back. It was all fairly messy through here until this period here. That's been our best run of the year, to be fair. Sorry, no, it's not. The best run of the year is probably through here, because this one was trending really, really nicely. It set up and moved beautifully well. I remember that back in late Jan. I just got back from my holiday, and it was starting to move really, really nicely. Then we got nice trends on the way back down, which opportunities arise. You'll note that is a little cradle short. If you had taken that, well, then you would have been very happy with that move, of course. Then through here, it was kind of messy, real spiky sort of activity, up, down, up, down, up, down. Then we had a higher low, higher high. This is the period where it really started to get interesting again, and we did see a lovely run. Now we're back into one of these consolidation periods. Through here, I'd kind of call that a consolidation period as well, then the run. Note, it was the higher low, higher high. That's when it started. Then it really kicked on. So we got the signals there. We got the market giving us a little bit of a heads up as to what it might be going to or might be about to do based on that trend. And that's why I trade trends. Okay, so ask me any questions as we go throughout. By the way, yes, I'll get back through. Algo Perp will be on the list, on the Perp list. I'll have a look at that, as I will the rest of those. So yeah, okay, let's carry on through here. Now, Bitcoin, as I said, the whole month, it's pretty much been sideways. You know, we're talking from back here on the 8th of May to right here on the 9th of June. There's been a little bit of up and down, but it's been largely messy. Have a look at it on the 4-hour. You know, there's been very few opportunities for good trades. As we came in here, we had a lower high, lower low, then a little move into here, and then up into an uptrend. And then we saw this big, you know, straight up through 10,000, straight back down. And then look at it through here. It's been very choppy, very, very choppy. And today, of course, that big candle, I don't know, you know, it's a 3.5, I think it was 3.5%, that candle from high to low. Yeah, 3.5% candle right there, $700. And it happened in one 15-minute candle. And it's not great. And I got stopped out of Tron this morning. I had a lovely little cradle on Tron. I'd take it again if I got the chance. I got no problem with taking a loss. It was a good trade, and I will continue to take good trades. So it's just been a little, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, it's not been the most wonderful trending conditions. And you look across the board here. Let's have a look at some of these daily moves. All right, so for the last week or so, up 1.5, up 1.2, down 1.8, up 0.5, up 0.9, up 0.3, down 0.1. Sorry, down 1%. So we're not seeing much activity throughout these trading days, which I would suggest the liquidity is probably not there as much. And that's probably why we're seeing the markets do a little bit more of this funny behavior. We saw it over here, bing bang. We saw it here. That was a pretty extreme one. So yeah, we just got to manage that and make sure that we're focusing our attention in the right areas and that we're not pushing things. We're not pushing trades for the sake of having a trade. That's really important. All right. So let's go through across the top 10. Look again. Oh, sorry, that's what I was doing. Have a look at the rest of them too. You know, Ethereum, very small move, small. XRP, look at that, just terrible. Look at that. What will we do with that? We do nothing. Bitcoin Cash, a mess. BSV, not much going on here. You know, 0.3, 0.1. There's not much happening across major markets where the liquidity lives. So naturally, we're not going to find as many trades. But I can tell you right now, when things change, they change quickly. Case in point was back here on that little 2-hour cradle a few weeks back. Trade of the year for me. This one back here. You know, what a move that was. Absolutely brilliant. When we get the trades, we get massive runs. That's why I'm not so concerned about slippage and whatnot, because it does tend to, the volatility plays out for you in the end more often than not. Just gone quiet. Volatility has diminished recently. Ethereum Classic the same. Very, very messy charts. And Tron. Here was that trade this morning, by the way. Look, beautiful off the 50 in an uptrend, bullish candle in the cradle, good convergence on the 8-hour, same thing, tickety boo. If I get it here on the 8, I'll probably take it again, as it is a good setup. Move the fib to there because the 8, that's not really a high or low, it's just one singular candle. And we're coming into an old level through here as a bit of support and resistance with the 61.8. So I'll be keeping an eye on that, and I'm going to pop that in my watch list as a starting point. So let's hit the FTX pairs. Any questions you may have, please let me know. Anything you would like to bring up as a topic for me. You know, the whole idea here is that I'm trying to help you guys to understand what you're doing, to take your own trades, to be your own trader, to empower you to make your own decisions. And the only way I can do that is if you're not trading now, to understand why and to understand how I can help you with that. So on to ETH, of course, you know, as we are looking for trends here, there's not one there, so we can go straight past that. Cardano, I'm not really interested in anything on Cardano at the minute on these lower time frames, all the mids, because it's just very messy. The time frame that is of interest to me, and it might take a little while to set up, is the daily. A pullback in, and it's got to pull back because it's just holding at the moment. One of two things: it'll either pull back or it'll move higher. That's what's going to happen, and of course, that's a bit of a no duh. It's the reality of what's going on at the moment. We're just very, very sideways. So there's nothing there. Algo Perp, so Big Roo, this is one I had on my list to keep an eye on. Now, I was looking at this more for the 2-day. Where am I? Hang on, no, was it Algo Perp? That's bizarre. That started today. That looked very different. That's today. Today is the 9th. Right, I'm not going crazy here, am I? No. The daily was also there. That little bullish candle represented a stop there. I was watching the 2-day, and that's probably why I didn't take it, because it didn't close the way I wanted it. It was really bizarre because it was there, and that's still today's candle. But I'm a little bit confused. Oh, that's the next one's the 11th. So let's start it today. To answer your question, or to have a look at it, it's in an uptrend. There are higher lows, there are higher highs. It's pulled back. The chart structure is quite nice. If anything, it looks quite, probability wise, we've got a good trend on the daily. On the 2-day, we've also got a nice trend here, pulling back into that cradle. It's just a matter of the market moving, really, and that's what TA and trading strategies do. They give us opportunities to buy and sell, to participate in the market. We don't know what the market's going to do. We just trade what we've given, and what we see is what we function with. One thing I also like down here was the 4-hour. G'day, Aaron. Higher low here. As we pushed up, we did put that in an uptrend, but that was based around, I believe, this spike. Yeah, see that? It all happened very, very quickly. Still, doesn't look bad at all. And it remains in my list. Alt Perp. Again, another one that's sort of suffering from the slowness, is probably the best way to put it, for the lack of a better phrase or word. Very little activity. See all these candles are very indecisive. 0.2, 0.3, none. There's not a lot going on in Alt Perp for that reason. I shall stay out. Atom. I had this. Oh, that's right. I was looking at this. Unfortunately for Atom, look, I'll show you a couple of things. I was watching this as it pulled back in, hoping for a little daily cradle, but of course it went ping. It just went zoomp, thump, straight back. So where am I on it now, and why is it in my list? Well, the reason it's in my list is because right now, higher low, higher high, moving averages are in the correct order, but it's the 2-hour that I'm seeing as a potential trading opportunity. A little bullish candle down in here. Now, stop would need to go underneath here if you were to trade that following the rules, because that is the higher low being represented so far. No worries, big group. But a little bullish candle in here is really what I'm after. Now, it's not going to be this candle. It might be later on this afternoon, and it might not happen at all. I'm not calling that significant resistance, and there's 1-to-1 before there if I get this set up. So I am patiently waiting for that little bullish candle in there. It's not there yet, but that's why it's in my list. And again, just to reiterate the strategy, higher low, higher high, pulling back, good convergence on the 2, good convergence on the 4 from this high to this high, yeah, convergent, moving averages in the correct order. As we go up, there's nothing going against it at all, and the daily still, it's bounced quite nicely there. So plenty of upward momentum to carry us into a trade if there was to be a trade that would set up. Bitcoin Cash again, just to come back to, it's going to sound like a broken record. Look at Bitcoin Cash for quite some time. That's not a trend. It's been a mess for a very, very long period. Going all the way to March, I think it was. Yeah, March. Again, very little in the way of activity here, not much for me to work with, and the 4-hour represents very little opportunity for me. Binance, which is kind of weird because Binance has been, during these slower periods, I've noticed when markets consolidate, Binance has generally done pretty well. It's just not cutting the mustard at the moment. I know they've got a few, it's not getting the best press out there at the moment compared to what it has done in the past, if you've been keeping an eye on anything. Not that, maybe that's slowing it down. I really don't know, but we did get some nice runs through here. It has slowed up. Higher low, higher high, but it's really messy, and for that reason, there's nothing there to play with. BSV, another one of these split tokens or coins, it's really a mess. Again, check this out. Through here and through here. It's a very, very mild range as far as where it's at the moment. There's nothing there for me to really look at. Don't forget, this can change very, very quickly, mind you. This is crypto. We can up or down very fast, and just direction. That's what I want. Bitmax, very sideways. Doge. Really wanting to see this push above. This was why I've got this level in. A push above there represents potential opportunities for pullbacks in on the cradle strategy. So for the time being, we wait on Doge. Our Dragon has been performing and continues to. If you see here, we got that higher low, and this was one of my favorite trends. I'll show you on the 8. Check this out. Beautiful moves. Let's go to the 4. Beautiful pullbacks. Look at this. In. Now, I'm not saying these all represent trades, not at all. But there's been some very, very nice momentum flowing through there. And here we have it back in here. That is a higher low. That is a higher high. We are convergent on this high to this high. I would like to see it pull back in a little bit more to get a little bullish candle in there. That would be my preference. So would I add that to a watch list now? Would I add it to a watch list now? Let me just draw a fib in here and see. The Fibonacci boost, of course, does overlay with many of the strategies I use. It doesn't really help too much here. I'm going to put it in a bit more of a pullback. Would be very nice indeed. I'm actually going to color these different. There we go. And we'll go on to EOS. Oh, again, you know, a little opportunity, was it back here? No, one, two. I don't know. It's hard. I don't like the hindsight trade, but you can see resistance. It popped quite well, and since then it's come off. I can't add too much more to that at the moment. Those big spikes. The nature of this market is not all that interesting to me. If it gets above this high, as in from now, pushes higher, that's when we'll have that trend restart, and it will look a lot better. Ethereum Classic. It's just a wet rag. Higher low, higher high, messy. Not interested in that sort of thing. I had the potential to raise an order there, but again, it's just too sideways for me to really put my money in it. It's as simple as that. I'm here to take good trades, not just any trade. And I won't settle for the best of a bad bunch. A nice run through exchange token, but it's done it kind of with some big candles, you know, like some big spikes. Have a look at it on the 4. You know, look, we had this beautiful cyclicity, beautiful pullback in here. That was a nice little, I think that was on the 2 hour, it looked really good because that was when EOS had one. Well, you could have, but the EOS, to be fair, the EOS level, the EOS counter was a lot better back then. But you can see these big pushes down, they kind of ruined what was a nice trend. It's not performed amazingly well, but it has trended, but it's been a rough ride on the way up. And that's what these sort of spike candles tend to do. They can make a chart look pretty average, to say the least. So I'm going to leave that for now. If anything, it would be a pullback on the daily, and this is very much in play if it was to occur. A pullback in on the daily, small bullish candle. I'm going to stalk that, but I do my scans at least once or twice a day, so I'm not going to miss that if it does pull back on the daily, so I won't put it in the list. Horby, again, nice trend. High, higher low, higher high. Bigger picture, higher low, higher high. Look at this on the weekly. It's messy. That doesn't add any value at all. 2-day higher low, higher high, moving average. Like it's a nice looking chart. Again, it's just about that patience game. A lot of the time when you're a trader, you just do your scan like I'm doing, and then you wait for the opportunity. It doesn't mean you're trading every day. People say, how many hours a day do you have to trade? Depends on the day. You know, a scan takes me, you know, half an hour to cover everything, and my other lists as well. And then I just work from my watch list. It doesn't need to be complicated. You just need to know what you're looking for. Leo. What a beautiful run. Got to pull back in. Not a great fan of the chart structure of this. It does have not a lot of liquidity, as you can see through here. So that's how we make sure we avoid charts with slippage. And you can see that in the video that I mentioned that is called Understanding Slippage or something like that. If you type in slippage on my YouTube channel, you'll see it. Link, I was pretty keen on recently. Why? Higher low, higher high, broke out of that range. Yeah, it's a good one to trade too. I done quite well with Link. It does tend to hold its line pretty well. A pullback in. I was hoping for a small bullish candle that, of course, it just bounced. But today I had this line drawn in. 1, 2, 3. I didn't get a trade there, by the way. I wanted it to come up and retest and close again. A bit of a B-stick break there, a little bit too much there. But again, look at that big spike candle. Let's have a look. There's a 1 hour cradle setting up right now to close in 40 minutes. The question is, are you willing to ignore that spike? There is grounds for ignoring it. There's also grounds for not ignoring it. But I'm going to put that in the list now, keeping an eye on that. Because it is a nice little trend, you know. We've got a higher low, a higher high. That, if it wasn't for that, gee whiz, then if it wasn't for that spike, that'd be looking really good. That spike does throw a little bit of a curveball. Litecoin perp. Oh geez, I can't remember the last time I had a trade on Litecoin. it's done very little. I mean, after the sell-off that we saw, it hasn't recovered to where we were. I mean, you look at Bitcoin and many of the others, this is where the sell-off occurred. You know, from here, realistically, most other pairs have climbed back to that region or beyond. Not Litecoin, so no interest. I've been watching Matic for quite some time because that trend is there, but there's just nothing to trade just yet. What about the 4-day? Let's just go real crazy here. No, look, the trend's good. The trend is really nice. The momentum's really nice. It's just slowed again. It just kind of come to a crawl. And through these periods, that's not when I'm going to make my money. And I'm very aware of that, so I don't try to. Mid-perp. Got the nice train, higher, low, higher, high. It's starting to get a bit flappy, like it wants to either consolidate and break or pull back a bit. It's like when you hold your arms out horizontal for long enough. The first minute's easy. The longer you hold it, the heavier it gets. That's what that reminds me of. Not to say it's going to fall. It just needs a little breather or something to happen. I marked this level in not for a breakout trade, but for a push above and a pull back in. Now that could still occur. That level could still show relevance. But first, we need to get above it. So I'm willing to leave that. If we do see a big market move in the next few hours or into this evening, I can go back through this perpetual list. And if you want it, just email admin@tradercobb.com, and we'll make sure we get that list out to you. And that's the list I'm scanning now, by the way. OKB, again, if we jump down here, very, very sloppy. There's nothing of real interest there for me. Not until it sorts itself out. I want to get that cyclicity in play before I really go too much into anything, really. And none of these markets are showing too much of it. Shit perp. Broke above. Again, I was looking for a pullback in. Didn't get it. Hoping for a bit of a further push on, then a pullback. It's just very, very slowly grinding along here. And, of course, affected once again by that big, wild and woolly candle earlier this morning. It's not going to make the list. Tomo. Well, it's starting to move. Look, consolidation. It's just broken, that consolidation. I'd like to see a little bit more follow through here. Let's have a look at this on our 4-hour. Yeah, look, in all honesty, it's a little bit too messy through here at the moment. If it does pull back and give a little cradle, I might consider it. But for me, I just want to see that cyclicity. I want to see that nice bouncing ball. And I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. It's about taking good trades. A move can occur and me not be on it, and that's fine. If it's not a good trade, then I'm not going to take it. And you'll see when you look at your volumes, or your own trading volumes, through periods where there's trends. If you trade the same way that I do, my strategy's here, then you'll get great trades and you'll see them, and your volumes will increase significantly. But if we don't get good trends, you won't be taking as many trades, and that's just the way it is. Now Tron on the 4, would I look at that in the 4? No, and look, would I be happy to take another trade on Tron if I got stopped out today, which I did? The answer is absolutely yeah. I've got no problem with that. A trade's a trade. That was one. It didn't work out. If I get a second, yeah, I'll take it. I've got a very fond memory of doing exactly that on a silver trade. Gee whiz, when was that? It might have been 2010, 11. I got stopped out once, set up again, and I went, I got to take it. It's a good trade. Took it and did a very large multiple on that one. So, you know, you've just got to stick to your rules. You've got to have rules, you've got to stick to them, and you've got to have the faith in them. For me, I much prefer this on the 8-hour. Good convergence on the 16, back in the cradle. What I really like about it is this. I like the way the daily's got its momentum. This little bullish candle in that cradle zone, although I didn't take that trade. I didn't trade that. It's pushed on quite nicely, and it would be very suitable to see a nice little pullback in, higher low, and a move on. And we've also got a bit of a, I know it's not a perfect resistance level because it's a bit all over the shop, but there is a level there, somewhere in and around that region where we've pulled back to now. So I'm willing to take another trade there if it were to set up. So I'm going to pop that into my yellow list. And XRP, well, spoke about that earlier. Look at how sideways that is. Very little in the way of anything going on there. Tezos, was this the 2-day? Yeah, there's a 2-day there. Again, it's just So if that candle didn't have this, I probably would have had an order on that. Although there's a big spike there as well. What was that? Where was it? Oh yeah, 8.5%. Oh, I really honestly wish I was able to say, look at all the great trades. But without great trends, for me, there won't be great trades. So I'll go past that. Privacy perp. Well, this was another one that did me very well. This breakout. I tell you what, that cradle there was that was the one. That was the one. I took that one. I made money on this trade. It was a good trade. But unfortunately, my stop was here, and I just got stopped out on that big sell-off that was at Sunday night, I think it was, last week. It just went thump, and then back off we went. So right now, what do we got? Again, nothing really there. This is a really, really good time, guys, to be learning, to be focused on what you're doing, to get your plans in place, to get your skills polished up. Because let me tell you something right now, when this market does move, it tends to move very well. You all know that. That's why you're here. So it's about just getting yourself in a position where you are ready. So the list that I have is here, Algoland. That's in my list because of that little candle there. And ultimately what I want to see is I want to see this continue on its trend. If we can get this back up and break that, that spike anomaly, we'll have an uptrend down. It'll look lower. Atom perp for me is on the 2 hour, the one I was keeping an eye on. What's it look like on the one here? Again, it's a bummer about that spike, because I mean my stop's got to be a fair way off unless I really get aggressive, and I'm not feeling the aggression. Look, the 1 hour is one you need to consider. Okay, if that closes bullish in 33 minutes, you can consider that. The other one is also, if it does pull back in a bit further on the 2 hour, that would be satisfactory. Where did we pull back to? Back into that region. That's fine. Yeah, I'm undecided, but I'm going to wait and see how that goes as we come into the close there. With Dragon, yeah, I like it on the 4. A bit more of a pullback, a little bit more depth. I mean, you could look at potentially taking that, but I do prefer a little bit more pullback on this one because it's not been as clean. Question: do you use the MACD waterline, or doesn't really matter? All I use is this, what I've got, which is just the MACD without the signal line. So I delete the signal line. There's a video as well that I did. It's on YouTube as well. It's the chart setup. It was, I think, last week. So you can see exactly how I set my charts up there as well if you would like to do that. So that's, I'd like to see a little bit more pullback there. The 2 hour, yeah, it's because of that candle, it just made that pullback messy because it went up and then back down. So it's the 4 hour for me there. Link, that was the 1 hour here. Yeah, that's a beautiful little candle. I've still got to get used to these spikes and how I, do I ignore that because it was just look at it. It's just one big spike. Is that a high or low? Well, I guess here's the way to do it. Is that a high or low? No, it's a singular candle. It needs to be a couple of candles to pull back for it to be represented as a high or low for me. So with that being said, that would make this the high or low. So yeah, okay. I've just talked myself into this, getting a lot closer to something that I'd consider, because that is just one spike candle under weird circumstances. That is more of a representation of a pullback, because look, it went straight down, straight back up to where roughly around where we were, right? Except for 0.5% lower than the candle before. So that's a 2 candle pullback. It's in. It's looking good. The 2 hour, we have convergence. We have just around that cradle zone, and as we go higher as well, of course, we have had that pullback. So there's a fair bit going for that. Obviously, you make your own decisions. This is not financial advice. Never offer that. I just teach you strategy and point you in the right direction for you to make your own decisions. Okay, and finally, Tron. That was the 8 hour. So yeah, keeping an eye on the little pullback here. So it's not like we haven't got anything to stalk. We do have things to keep an eye on. We just need to be patient. We need to wait. Andrew, Zil, I don't think they've got a perpetual contract on here with FTX. Just finished courses and setting up some accounts. I feel lucky to have found your stuff as a beginner. Thanks. No worries, Crypto J, bro. I appreciate that feedback, mate. I really do. Set the accounts up, of course. And watch through the how to raise order videos, the slippage video. Get yourself familiar with the FTX platform. It is the one that I use. It's the one that I work with. It's the one that I've been using for quite some time. Just learn about how to use it and what you're looking for, and stick to those rules. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button or the thumbs up or whatever that button is, because I think it helps it to rank higher or something, so more people get to see this. Tuesday I'll be back here, same time at 3 p.m. and just keep your eyes out with the watch list videos that I do put out as well, because that's to help you guys again. You can take a horse to the water, you can't make it drink. Trying to get you guys so that you understand what you're looking at and you can make your own decisions, because that way you don't need me. You do it yourself. Feel free to share this with anybody you like as well, in your groups, whatever you want. Up to you. Have a great day. Doesn't look like any more questions are coming through, so I'll leave you to it, ladies and gentlemen, and yeah, take care. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.